LiveSafari here at Juma Private Game Reserve. My name's Brent. I've got Andrew on camera with me today, and Nicky's in FC. For those of you who are new to us, believe it or not, we are literally live by a few seconds from wherever you are in the world to us here on safari in South Africa. Hopefully everyone's in the mood to find some animals, and we will see what we can find, and I'll keep you updated as we go along about what we're doing. So welcome on drive, and I'm really happy to have all of you guys with us. Just for those who are new, we are completely interactive and you can send questions to us. You can use the email address questions@wildearth.tv, or just use the hashtag SafariLive if you're on Twitter. So what we're going to do first this afternoon is we're heading towards the area where the guys lost or left that young male leopard this morning. So we're going to see if we can try to find him. It is quite warm. He's probably going to be resting somewhere, so it hopefully gives us a much better chance of finding him. He hasn't moved too far during the day. But the one thing one must always not try to do is predict too much of animal movements, because if I said he hasn't moved too far, he could have walked 5 kilometers. Hopefully he will be in the same area though, and it shouldn't take us too long to find him. Warm at the moment, I guess probably around 30 degrees Celsius, almost, well, not a breath of wind, not very clouds in the sky. Bush is drying out quite quickly at the moment. Probably most of our rain's is done for the rest of the year. My personally want to, and it starts getting dry and a bit cooler, and the bush starts to change colour. So there's been a lot of buffalo around, and with a lot of buffalo around equals a lot of flies, as you'll see. Might be swatting from time to time. So you'll notice that I might lean out of the vehicle quite often, and what I'm doing when I do that is I'm checking for tracks, so the footprints of different animals. Generally, when it comes to tracks, we'll be looking for your apex predators, your lion, leopard, and cheetah, wild dog. Hyena, we don't really track the tracks too often because they move such vast distances. guys left that male leopard this morning, was up in this direction. I'm just checking the road very carefully to make sure he hasn't moved down this way during the day. So for those of you who weren't watching this morning, I'll just give you a quick update. Stefan was out with Scott and they found the quarantine male leopard, who's a young male leopard who we do see quite frequently here at Djuma. And he very, very nearly caught a bushbuck right next to them. So they were very lucky and able to actually see him chase the bushbuck. And for those of you who are regulars and wondering a little bit about Steph, Steph is a new member to the team who will be with us from time to time. He is in no way replacing any of the other members, so everyone is no one's going anywhere. Oops. So we have to keep our eyes peeled, because if he is sleeping, he could be a completely flat cat, and that's part of their defensive strategy. So they're not spotted by things like lions when they are resting. And there we go. He has moved by the looks of things. No, those are old tracks. Those are not from this morning. So what I'm doing is I'm looking into the deep shade, see if he's resting there, possibly looking for a little flick of the tail, white of his underbelly, or maybe just him raising his head as we go past. Also check around termite mounds, slightly elevated areas, and occasionally when it is very hot, leopards will choose to sleep in the tree where there's a little bit more air movement, and it's a bit cooler for them. Wow, the flies are really, really out and about today. Yeah. Male Inyala. Stay a little bit forward. Here we go. Nice. Big Inyala bull. So they are browsers rather than grazers, which means that they feed mostly off trees and small bushes. So even though it looks like he's eating grass there, as you can have a quick look in his mouth there, it wasn't. It was a small branch. Quite a funny story about how Inyala got their Latin name. There's a couple of different theories, but the first European person to discover them was a Scotsman by the name of Angus, and he set forth from a place which was called Port Natal, which is around where the current city of Durban in South Africa is today. And Inyala do not naturally occur that far down the coast. So he collected a group of porters and trackers and whatnot from that area, and he headed north up the east coast of Africa. And once he had crossed quite a large river, which is sort of the geographic boundary for Inyala in South Africa, called the Tugela River, he came across this antelope. And in those days, how he used to identify things is he used to shoot them and then have a look at them. And he shot an Inyala, and he asked his Zulu tracker, well, what is this? And the tracker said, well, Angaz, which means I don't know. So its Latin name became a Traphalagus, which is referring to its family with the spiral horns. Angazi, so it's a spiral horned I don't know. You can see how even an animal, when he crossed the road, he looked quite conspicuous. You can see there now that the camouflage does work, and there's the lines and that do break up the sort of the body shape, and then when he moves into the shade, that dark brown sort of blends very, very well. Well, we'll leave him to his afternoon snack. So I can't find any tracks of this young male leopard coming onto the roads, which means if he has moved, he possibly has moved through the one of these blocks of bush. So what I'm doing is I'm going to work my way around to the next road and then head down towards the nearest water point, see if we get any tracks coming through there. Sorry, I just got some other tracks here. Just checking quickly. So, lots of buffalo and lion tracks on the road here. This is where Scott yesterday evening was following that herd of buffalo with the lions before they crossed into off our eastern boundary. It's always just quite disconcerting. You're looking for leopard tracks. Oh no, it's a lion. Oh no, it's a lion. What we're doing is we're checking around again, trying to make sure that this leopard hasn't maybe come through this direction. There is some water to the sort of northwest of us, a place called Buffalo's Hook Dam, so we're going to loop around towards the dam. If we don't get anything, we'll head back into that area when it's a bit cooler and he might be moving. Remember guys, if you want to ask me any questions, you can send them to questions@wildearth.tv or just use the hashtag Safari Live if you're on Twitter. Also, because we're heading towards the water, there's a very good chance of finding some elephants. Go ahead. Good afternoon, Roman, from the Netherlands. Welcome on Drive with us this afternoon. Roman is very lucky and he's on his way to Arethusa next month. And he'd like to know what his odds are of spotting the big five and his favorite animal, same favorite animal as me, the African wild dog. Well, Roman, in terms of the big five, you've got an incredibly good chance of seeing all of them during your stay there. The Northern Sabi Sands has some of the best game viewing in South Africa, if not Africa for that matter, especially when it comes to your predators. So I'm very, very confident you will probably see the big five. Unfortunately, wild dog, it's a bit of a gamble. Depending on where they den, so they should be denning from the end of this month going into next month. If they den close by, you've got an excellent chance of seeing them, and they will be in the area constantly. But if they den to the north or to the south, and it's a bit far from where they're denning, then your chances go down. But I haven't personally seen any sort of sign of the dogs looking for den sites yet, or starting to dig around in all the aardvark burrows. But it is now this time of the year when they start doing that and they start looking for potential den sites. I hope that helps, Ron, for your safari. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are very jealous. The flies are so horrific today. I tried it once before and did have a little bit of success. So I decided to go harvesting dwarf wild sage. Happened to be just a particularly bad spot for our signal. But we're back. So Andrew wants to try some as well. Pass it on.
Thank you.
So basically the last time what I did is I just rubbed it all over myself to try and get some of the smell on me. And it did work, but it seemed for a short while. So we'll see if it makes a bit of a difference, because they are incredibly active, the flies today. So hopefully it makes a difference. And if it didn't, I hope it was at least slightly amusing to see me rub a bush all over my face. No. And if that doesn't work, I'll just have to find another branch to act as a fly spotter. Another nice thing about this dwarf wild sage is you can eat it and use it for cooking. So traditionally it's been burnt as a mosquito repellent. I'm going to just bring out my good old Margaret Roberts. So traditionally used as a mosquito repellent, but as being burnt, dried and burnt on a sort of coal inside a room. And I have tried that before with different sage species, not with this one, but with the large sage. Wild. Here we go. That's the blue sage, that's the big one. Here we go.
It's not working.
Sorry?
It's not working as a fly repellent.
Is it not? Well, there don't seem to be as many on me. There's a lot on you. Here we go. What else? Some other traditional... A tea can be made from it. It's a disinfectant tea for fevers, flu, bronchitis, any sort of respiratory or throat infections. in the Sutu and Tswana, who are from further north from where we are. They burn it in their huts to drive out insects and bed bugs. And also used as a skin treatment for sort of lesions and sores, boiled in water, and added all the stems, the flowers, the leaves, all boiled in water, about 1 liter of water, and then strained, and then the leaves are used to wash over the lesions or sores. Oh. No, just also used as a taken orally as a a cure for flatulence. That's one I didn't know. So I think there's a few members of our camp who could use that. So we're getting quite close to where the water is. So hopefully we'll find something there. I seem to have a bit of success for flies. Definitely not as many. I might have to reapply later. Go ahead. Good afternoon, Angela in Boston. Welcome on Drive. Angela is wondering, she's been watching, and she sees that we've got speed bumps like this coming up ahead of me here. Well, Angela, this is not actually a speed bump. It's called a mitre drain, and that's not a good one. I'll show you. I'll try to show you a better one now. And what it is, it's to stop erosion on the roads. So when we have heavy rains, roads tend to cause erosion and that. So you have these drains, so it stops all the soil disappearing and washing away, and it leads the water off the road. That's also not a good one. We'll look for one where we can see it clearly. But as a nice byproduct, do you have speed bumps out? Oh, see if you can. A very pretty little bird. See if we can get them there. The light might be a bit harsh, but let's go to the
one.
Oh, I can't even see them properly. Just get my one gone. Yes, there were. Unfortunately, with the light, it was a bit difficult to see them clearly. I'll just have to show you what they look like in the book. Put the shade over it, or
Which one is it?
4. So there we go. It was a bit difficult. The light was just in the wrong place for us to get a good view at them. But it's it used to be called a Melba finch. are now called a green-winged petilia. Very pretty little seed eater. Eats a lot of grass seeds and other seeds of smaller plants. Oh, it seems all is quiet at Buffalo's Hook Dam today. Maybe we might find... Whoa, bounce. The grey heron on the opposite bank. I know what we can go look at. If we sneak down there, I see some action. Go. Sneak quite slowly. Whole bunch of little seed eaters drinking. I think we might have to try from the other side. The lights not great again. Let me just try reposition quickly, everyone, so we can see them. It looks like, unfortunately, they've all flown off. They look like little canaries. I didn't get a good look at them though. Very, very little happening around here today. So, because it is quite warm, I think we should go find some shade. Because if I was an animal, I'd also want to be in the shade. So what we're going to do is move down towards one of the drainage systems, the larger drainage systems in the area, where we're able to actually drive in the riverbed. And we'll take a slow drive in the riverbed to see what we can see. Well, there's been moderate success with the insect repellent. I feel like there's definitely less flies on my face at the moment, but there are still some that seem to have been able to brave the sage. I think I'm going to have to try and find a different species of plant to attempt. We have to try and find either some wild basil or some wild aniseed. Are the only other two plants I can think of offhand right now that are used as insect repellents. That we're just going through quite a low area in a drainage line. Easier forward a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Very noisy birds. Here we go. So, I'm actually going to ask you guys what these birds are. They live in flocks, and they are very, very noisy, and their name tends to indicate that they are a noisy bunch. And you can send your answers to questions at wildearth.tv or use the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. Let's see what happens if I start the car. They might. Oh no, there we go. So they live in flocks and they forage together. So let's see who's going to be the first to figure out which bird that was. Here we go. Let's just have a, maybe see if we can get one last look at them, a slightly better one. Oh, I've seen one of my favorite little creatures in the bush. Get the birds, you can hear them making that noise now. It's a very distinct noise. And if we look carefully, if we come away from the birds and look at the termite mound right next to us, there are some very, very interested little creatures peering at us. Correct. So if you look carefully, there's actually a whole bunch of little dwarf mongoose. Oh, there we go, scatter. Here, next one, right next to us. With his head popping out the termite mound. So it's one of their defense mechanisms. While they forage, because they're so small, they do get eaten by a lot of different things. Birds of prey. I've even seen leopard kill them before. So they have in their territory all these little bolt holes that they'll run to and hide in, and that they can come sort of peer out of to make sure everything's safe before bolting off to the next foraging site or area of safety. Well done to RC, Raisa and Joanne, who got that bird correct. They were arrow marked babblers. So if anyone hears a click, don't worry, nothing's breaking. It's just my camera that is just too cute a photograph not to take of the little one popping his head out there. So there's quite a few. I probably can see about 9 or 10 at the moment, all around us. On both sides of the road actually, so a bit more than 9 or 10. So this type of woodland's quite ideal for a dwarf mongoose. There'll be quite a lot of food in terms of grubs and insects around. Just keeping an eye on us, making sure we're not up to any nonsense. So if you listen carefully, you can hear all that little scratching all around us, and that's the rest of the business of foraging. And sometimes you'll be amazed when you look at these holes how many come out of one. So here's quite nice because there's a sub-adult, a youngster there. There's another youngster. You can see they're slightly smaller than the adults. Oh, there's a much smaller one, a very young one. Oh, sweetness.
You call them
Matikito.
pups?
Yep, they would be pups. And they will travel from a very young age with the business. It's quite amazing. If you sit for a little bit longer than what people normally do with dwarf mongoose, you suddenly start seeing that you'll always see one or two, the sort of sentries you're tasked with guarding and watching for potential threats. But if you sit long enough and they become a bit more comfortable with you, you start seeing a lot more other members of the group. Oh look, another little one. This one's now decided we're not that much of a threat that needs to just poke his head out. He's actually come out and sitting, watching us. So very alert. And when you're that size in the bush, you have to be, because you are definitely not at the top of the food chain. So in Africa, this is the smallest member of the sort of mammalian order of carnivores, Carnivora. So it's the smallest member of the Carnivora family in Africa. And the Shangaan name is one of my favorites for an animal. It's Matsikitsok. And we even there was another guide, a Shangaan guide I worked with a few years ago, Alfie, who was really, really short, so obviously immediately his nickname became Matsikitsok, the dwarf mongoose. The rest of the group slowly moving away. Chop, chop, chop. There we go. See how that younger one, as soon as there's an adult present, feels even more comfortable to come out. We'll probably follow off. There we go. Oh, isn't that wonderful? Alright, little mongoose. One of my favorite roads on Djuma. Go ahead. Good afternoon, Jacqueline from Savannah. Welcome on Drive with us this afternoon. Jacqueline would like to know what mongoose eat? I'm presuming you're talking about the dwarf mongoose we just saw. Well, Jacqueline, the majority of their food would be insects and arachnids, so they will eat lots of bugs, especially the larvae of the bugs, so the grubs, and of beetles, and they'll eat scorpions. There have been small snakes, field mice, baby rats, whatever they can find, but generally on the smaller scale. Different species of mongoose will eat different things, but that's specifically with the dwarfs. The majority of their prey will be sort of beetle larvae, termites, termite alates, flying ants, scorpions. Well, there's quite a few reasons this is one of my favorite roads on Juma. It's along the edge of a little drainage line that are very, very productive for me personally with leopards. I've had some fantastic sightings in this area, and also I just really like walking this drainage line. It's a fantastic area to walk in when you're tracking. Beautiful, you got big jackalberry trees and big scotias, weeping poor beans, and big knob thorns, and I suppose possibly because I had one of my best sightings of a leopard was just inside this drainage line over here, and that was when we found also the first leopard I found and tracked on foot at Juma, which was Kunyuma. It's a young male leopard. He's a bit mad in the head, and I think that's why he's my favorite leopard. And I just had such a fantastic time viewing him in that drainage line. It's sort of what made this area one of my favorites. Good afternoon, Donna. Welcome on Drive. Donna would like to know the name of this road we've just gone down, and it's called Inyala Road South. In the road just off to the right hand of the track. Oh, that was perfect timing there. As it sort of turned, the sun glinted off those emerald spots that give that bird its name, an emerald spotted wood dove. Good afternoon, Orbs. No updates. Copy, Orbs. I've been past Buffalo's Hook. There was nothing there earlier. Have a look at the base of that fallen down buffalo thorn. There's a little bird hopping around. Oh, there's a little push bike by the looks of things in the road. Just to the right. And it disappeared. Let's have a bit closer. He's got a nice little bird party going on around here, and around this buffalo thorn. Let's see. Looks like they took off. I can hear some more babblers. That's not what I was looking for. I was hoping there was an orange-breasted bushshrike that I saw fly in there that I was hoping was going to stay for a bit longer. Where's that little bushbuck gone? Popped into this thicket here on the left. I think she's hiding in there. Shame, we don't want to stress her too much. We'll move on. But I think she's hiding right in this thicket that the camera's on at the moment. Move. Oh, I don't know if we got a quick glimpse. We might. Get off. No, not yet. I'm flashing out at the moment. Oops. Too quick for us. There we go. Oh, Nelly. He might pop up again. Andrew, nice camera work. Was it slender mongoose? Okay, he's moving. There we go. Maybe he'll come. No, he's going to go up to the left. Let's see if we can get a better view.
Hello.
I've just spotted something quite interesting in the riverbed here. I'm just going to position the car differently so Andrew can show you on camera. I'm just going to get out to explain it a bit. So, have a look at that nice clear one. You can focus on. Yeah. So have a look there. Almost in the soft sand, looks a bit like a similar shape to a human foot, except a bit wider. And then you can see this very distinct trail, almost like something doing this through the sand. And then, if you have a look at this one, I don't know what it's looking like, it's a bit difficult. Very big print in the sand here. It's quite a difficult one if you're not used to it. But quite a nice track to look at. It's a crocodile. Had decided to walk through here. Probably as it gets drier, the crocodile is going to be forced to move between the water points to the more permanent water points. So So who knows, maybe one day we'll be driving down the road and looking for leopards and we'll find a crocodile walking down the road. Wouldn't that be exciting? Aha! I've spotted another possible fly repellent. So a lot of you might recognize this plant. I'm not going to tell you what it is just yet. I'm going to see if anyone can tell me what it is. You might recognize the shape of the plant. Here are the seeds up above and here are the leaves. Very, very distinct smell. Unfortunately, you guys can't smell it, but really, really great smell. Let's see if anyone can recognize the shape of the family before I completely abuse it and try use it as a fly repellent. Okay, well, I'll give you guys a while. So, no tracks coming out here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go have a look quickly in this little riverine area and see what if we can have some if I get some luck. I still hear that faint alarm call there. Always worth checking.
Those birds were flying away from Brent.
Unfortunately, it was a false alarm. I did find what the Franklin were alarm calling it, and it was a slender mongoose. Not a leopard, unfortunately, but you need to check because one in about 20 times it is a leopard. What was that? Natal Franklin. Suddenly he popped out of the grass, and as we were going past, had a slight panic. It's calm again now. So it's quite interesting that they're quite different alarm calls for different. Like we heard that one there, it was, whoa, I got a fright. Oh, but it's not going to eat me. It's okay, it's okay, I'm calm now. But there's where it's a predator they're actually worried about, like a leopard or a slender mongoose or even a bird of prey. It's a much sort of more high-pitched sort of, and it's very we just spotted a nice big male waterbuck. I'm just trying to get into a position where we see him nicely. He's just in the thick bush, but he should. There we go. He's moving through now. Let me go forward again. One of the easier animals in the bush to identify from his behind. A very distinct, large white circle on the behind of a waterbuck. That is a following mechanism. So youngsters are able to follow their mothers through the bush. Waterbuck have some quite interesting adaptations that are not as common in other antelope. Their fur is not the same as most all the other antelope's fur that we see here at Djuma. They're more like quills, so they're actually hollow, and they have a very unique gland near their shoulder on the top of their back that they'll actually use with their nose to spread the secretion from that gland over their skin, giving them a sort of waterproofing when it rains. So it's a very oily and smelly substance. You can actually quite often smell waterbuck before you see them. As we are now, we're downwind of him. We can actually smell that. It's sort of a musty odor. I haven't seen any females around yet, just him. Let me see. He is moving into some thicker bush. Let me just try to roll forward a bit, see if we get a bit of. Just slowly grazing. Nice set of horns on on this guy. Very good hearing. There's a car on the road probably over a kilometre away from us heading towards us, and as soon as it sort of came over the ridge, lifted his head and sort of listened in that direction. Just to give you an idea how aware the animals are of their surroundings. Oh, listen. Ah, no, that's not a threat. Back to eating. Now we'll let meander on, see what else we can find. Just use my camera as a pair of binoculars quickly. Nah, false alarm. Well done to Angela, Jennifer, Robin and Susan. Got this correct. This is wild basil. Oicum. So now that everyone's got it correct, I'm going to have a new test. Maybe I'll have to sort of start brewing a concoction between basil and sage and aniseed to see which is the most effective at keeping the bugs off. Incredible. And I actually do cook with this. Goes very well with the wild version. Let's see. Maybe this will be a bit more effective than the sage. Yummy. Checked the last position of quarantine, was unable to locate. Then checked Puffles Hook, down Nyala Road, north-south to Moati to Twin Dams, now on Weaver's Nest heading towards Treehouse. Over. So we've moved away from that area where we're looking for that young male leopard. This morning went out tracking and I was following up on the tracks of a female leopard that went into one of these blocks off to our west here and didn't come out. So I'm going to look possibly if she might have moved out as during the day. If not, it's always a possibility you might have made a kill in that area, so it's worth having another check. Very lazy looking buffalo bull. Just go around to get on the right side of the light of him quickly. Go ahead. Good evening, Brenda. Welcome on Game Drive with us this evening. Brenda would like to know, well, what happens with the grazers when all the grass dies? Well, not all the grass species completely die. Even though there isn't as much nutrients in the grass, there is still enough nutrients for them to get through the winter. Well, it is definitely official. Basil doesn't work.
Just trying to find that thing we can.
Copy, thanks, Mark. I'm on Philemon's cut line. I will go have a quick check in that area. Copy, thanks. So I just got a report from the guys back at camp that there's monkeys and impala alarm calling around right near our camp. So I'm going to make my way into that area. That's a very good sign that there's a leopard in the area. Sorry, last station, go again. Copy, thanks. Afternoon, gentlemen. Excuse us, we're on our way to look for a leopard. The competition amongst these bachelor herds is going to start getting quite fierce very shortly as the rutting season starts and everyone starts fighting for females. You can actually watch the males lose condition. You can actually watch the males lose condition. They stop eating and they start, all they do is fight to try to protect their little harems that they sequestered off. Well, if anything, it seems like basil attracts, so I wouldn't recommend using basil as a fly repellent. Standing by. standing by. I'm on quarantine. Copy, which road? Copy, I'll be there shortly. Copy, confirm best access is from northern side of Wilderness Dam. Copy, thanks. So guys, I just got a report of that leopard again very close to our camp. So I'm just going to shoot there quickly. Oops, a daisy. So just bear with me for a few minutes. I just need to get into that area. The other vehicle there isn't able to do quite the off-roading that are in this vehicle, so we don't want to lose the leopard. Call a Ferrari Safari. Shortly. So this is a notoriously difficult area because of all these little drainage lines, but I'm hoping we should be there in time. Mark, check my back audio. Standing by. Copy. I'll follow up on an Uber. How far from the junction with Buffalo's or Cutline do you think? confirm, from that little road, are you east or west from Vubu? Are you closer to that little drainage that runs right above Gari Dam? Copy. I've taken that access shortcut from. I'm now heading south on Mvubu. So guys, that leopard should be making his way out somewhere around here. They lost him in the thicket, so we're just gonna go very slowly and carefully through here. Just gonna listen for a second. Mark coming. Mark, I'm not sure I'm understanding your directions correctly. Can you confirm how many meters from the inflow, so the western side, the drainage line, the western side of Gari Dam, are you? I affirm, but how far from the dam? How many meters north of the dam? Copy, thanks. Sorry guys, just trying to figure out where this leopard is going to pop out of this thick bush. So we do is just move slowly, stop, listen, then move forward again, slowly, stop, listen. So he's somewhere in this area. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to find a spot. So what we're listening for is any slight little alarm calls, like birds. Even the smallest bird, when it sees a leopard, might make that sort of pss, 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 alarm call. So we're just trying to listen for anything possible that'll help us find this leopard. So I'm just going to park the vehicle where we got a view of both, long distance both ways. This way we can see quite a long way down either side of the road. mark coming. Do you have any idea which ingwer that was? So apparently, for those of you wondering which leopard it was, they think it was quarantine male. We're going to wait a few more minutes. If we don't hear anything or see anything, I'm going to take a quick walk into these thickets here. See if maybe he's laid down and rested somewhere. Then his last general direction was north and east, which is sort of pretty much where we are. Let me just check a little bit further up here. Do this. There we go. It's probably the best long distance view we're going to get both ways. I'm just going to take a quick walk into the block here. See if I have any luck. Sorry, just listening carefully there quickly. Oh, there we go. Got dwarf mongoose alarm call. Let's go have a quick look. Keep your ears peeled there and your eyes peeled as we try check through here. The mongoose alarm calls sounded like they were coming from over here. There's a dwarf mongoose. So this is the area they're alarm calling in. I'm just gonna check this. There he is, got him. Boom! Dwarf mongoose.
Very nice.
So that slight little tiny alarm call that was is how we found him. I found the dwarf mongoose. There he is, got him. Boom! Dwarf mongoose.
Very nice.
So that slight little tiny alarm call that was is how we found him. I found the dwarf mongoose. We found the leopard. Relocated on this Madorengwe in the block between the drainage line that runs into Vuyatela Dam and Mvubu Road. Is probably about 150 meters to the west of that shortcut that goes to Gallagher, and about 60 meters from the road. So I move forward. So let's have a look. I'm not quite confident to say who it is just yet. I mean, I'm just trying to get a good look. So, just trying to have a quick look to see who it is properly, but he's... Well, I can tell you one thing for sure, he's a hungry leopard. We're going to wait. I'm quite sure he's going to come out into the open and we get a good view of his face. There's, as I said, a strong possibility it is a quarantine, just from his general behavior so far and the age. But you never know. Definitely heard something to the west of us. Not 100% sure. I think he's heard those dwarf mongoose scuttling around. I'm not sure. Maybe you guys can help me out there. I'm not 100% sure that that's quarantine.
I think this leopard is bigger, or?
No, it just... There's something that just... I don't know what it is. Standing by. I'm just going to have to turn it around quickly, guys. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, apparently it does look like quarantine. I can just trying to see that. There we go. You've got that distinctive almost landing strip down his back. There he is. Almost looks like he's limping a little bit. The back left leg. It's not limping, a bit stiff almost. Where'd he go? Yeah, still got him. Oh, irritating flies. Watch thorns, Andrew, on the left. Choosing the best places for us to follow him this evening. That's fine. It's just in front of us here, moving through the round leaf teak. Definitely looking a bit sore in his back leg there. That's not going to be there. What's behind us? Watch thorns left. The last one I saw was just off to the left here. I think general direction should be popping out, or popped out. On this thicket. There he is. Oh, in front of us. A little bit further than I thought there. Still not my ideal spot, but we will keep with him as long as possible. A very, very thick area. But I think I found a sneaky gap. And thorn trees everywhere. Fucking diving. Watch the thorns. I've still got him, but he is definitely giving us a proper runner on today. It's just myself here. He's still mobile north on the eastern edge of the drainage. Quite a tough block, but we've still got him. finally managed to make some headway after him there. So be very careful on these round leaf teaks. Oh. So he's definitely hungry and hunting, and he's working his way around these quite difficult drainage lines, possibly looking for duiker, bushbuck, or even an inyala. Oh dear. Mr. Q, I cannot follow you. I'm going to try to see if I can get around to the other side of this drainage line somewhere. Where he's gone is very steep. Let's try it. He's actually just sitting on the other side of that termite farm. I'm going to try and move around. Oh, change direction. Stations, this Modolingo is heading into Makulushkova. I'm not going to be able to follow. I will try to find another way into the Shkova to follow up. The moment he's Lala on the edge, but I think he's going to move into it. I mean, the top areas of that Shkova that runs from Mvubu junction with Buffalo's Hook cut line, probably about 400 meters into the block on the edge of that Shkova. Animal's just gone into the Shkova. I've lost visual. I will try to relocate and find a place to cross the Shkova. Okay, so Puppy general direction is northwest at the moment. So what I'm going to try to do, it's very, very difficult, as you can see. I mean, a wall of bush, and it's very, very steep. There's actually sort of about a 2.5 meter drop off. I think, if I remember correctly, there's a place where I might be able to cross, and maybe we can try to find them on the other side, but it will be quite difficult. But worth a try. Thanks, guys. All of you out there saying, you know, I'd go through it if I could. Definitely I would. Wouldn't even cross my mind twice. I'm hoping I can find a way that we're going to be able to sneak into this drainage system. But Okay. People worried that he might be a little bit on the skinny side. He is, but nothing that's going to be terribly harmful to him at the moment. He would have to go quite a lot longer without anything to eat for it to be very serious. So I'm just trying to, so he gone through there. His general direction was down here, but I'm hoping he's crossed through to the other side, or maybe not. Let's see if we can cross through to the other side first. We managed to get into the range line, but getting across it might be another story entirely. Not without a bulldozer, I'm afraid. Fortunately, this little bank's too steep, so what happens if we go down it, we're basically just going to get stuck on our nose. We're not going to have any purchase, and our back tires will be in the air. I think we're going to have to try another way. I don't think heading this way anymore is going to have to try. Negative. I haven't managed to get across the Shkova. I think I'm going to have to try head back towards Mvubo and try from the other side. Confirm, are you on the guy Buffalo cut line now? Copy, if you turn off you should get my Morva audio in the block. I'm almost in the exact same position where I lost him now. He was heading northwest from here. Have you got my mobile audio? I'm probably closer to Bobo's cut line than to Buyatela. gas stations. There's no point in following up, as I said earlier, from this side of the drainage. You can't get through. I'm trying to make my way back up to Mvubu at the moment and try access from the other side of the drainage. Guys, we weren't able to get through the drainage line there, but we are gonna try for the last few minutes to attempt to get through from the other side. Afternoon, guys. Good.
We'll follow you.
Okay. Yeah, we lost him about 150 meters down this drainage line. So we're gonna try shoot around quickly. The chances are, well, you never know. We found him from a dwarf mongoose alarm call just now, so little tricks might keep us in the game. This is the sort of top end of that drainage line. As you can see, it's a lot easier to cross here on the fire break. Oh boy. So one thing that's quite fortunate once you're on the edge of these little drainage lines is you do have this sort of little open patch at the edge of where the water sort of seeps through naturally through the soil, which does make it a little bit easier to drive rather up on top here like this than 25-30 meters back. So by being able to read the grass and soils and stuff, you can actually see where it's going to be an easier place to drive. Go ahead. Negative. I've gone off in Mvubu. I'm now on the western side of that drainage line that comes from Mvubu at the fire break. Last position was probably 150 meters straight south from there, so I'm just trying to make my way along the edge of the drainage line on the western side now. So we're going to look very carefully around this area. I'm going to turn off and listen for a second. iPhone, zero visual. I'm just trying to relocate now. I'm going to stop and listen for any alarm calls quickly. So the last place we had him was in this myriad of little drainage lines, and very steep ones ahead of us. Guys, I don't think we are. Unfortunately, we're not going to get too much luck trying to crash over all these trees here without, with blindly trying to find them. So what I think we'll do is we'll move our way out of the area and see what else we can find. But I don't think it's worth trying to get through this really, really difficult spot on a bit of a hope. Stations, I don't think we're going to be able to locate. It's Makulu Hlatin here, and there's maningi little shkovas. I'm going to move out of the area. Well, it's nice to know that he's in the area, even though he managed to give us the slip this afternoon. There's seriously large drainage lines in there. Well, that was fun. Always good to see. The quarantine mail. The young males that we're lucky enough to have in this area do give us such good quality viewing, and so regularly. But yeah, I think in the next six months or so, not going to be seen too often anymore, as they get pushed out and have to go seek their fortune away from their natal territories. Good afternoon, Marianne from Boston. Marianne would like to know, if leopards don't eat for a very long time, does that affect any of the internal organs? Well, Marianne, I can think of one that affects quite particularly, and that's the stomach. But obviously it would have to be a very, very extended period of time with no eating, so sort of 3 weeks or longer for it to actually start causing problems with other internal organs like kidneys and livers and things. But it would have to be a very, very long time, and a leopard that hadn't eaten for that long would be in sort of very dire straits. I don't think by any means that the quarantine male is near that sort of hungry, but he could definitely do with a decent meal. Remember guys, if anyone else there has questions, you can send them to us via email on questions@wildearth.tv, or if you're on Twitter, just use the hashtag Safari Live. So what we'll do is that what I'm trying to do now is get out of this quite tricky area and up onto the top of one of the crests, and we'll try have a nice view of the late afternoon light, and possibly even today, depending on how much smoke and dust is in the air, we might even be able to see the Drakensberg Mountains. That way. Standing by. Firm, yeah. And there's lots and lots of squalvers in there as well. Like if I'd managed to stay through him for the first one, it would have been okay, but I think as soon as he crossed, then I had to come around. She was gone. Copy, no worries. Good luck, guy. I hope it changes on your way home. Shame it was the other vehicles who were trying to get to us to see that leopard, and they were just too slow behind us, and as he dipped through there, they came, as just after he dipped through, he arrived, and he's just saying, geez, he's just not having any luck with leopards today. So we can keep our fingers crossed that our leopard luck keeps going. So there we go. Oh no, don't think I had my timing quite right there for my freewheel down to look at the Draken. There we go, we can see the Drakensberg Mountains in the distance. Wonderful pastel colors this evening as well. Another tough day in the office. So there was a rumor of some other Impala alarm calling very close to camp. So we're going to slowly meander our way there. Let's take a shortcut. Why don't we? Hello. Bye-bye. This is the magical time of the day. The temperature cooled off, almost perfect. That perfect temperature. It's not too hot. Birds choose to silhouette themselves for you on very broken sticks. So we've got two species sitting there. A magpie shrike on the left and a red-billed hornbill on the right. We love this time of day. Yeah, the magpie shrike is calling. Station copy you 0 out of 5. One of the nicest things about this time of the day as well is the flies are about to disappear. I do a little jump for joy. Station try now with your message. 2 out of 5. Negative, we're not going to be hitting that. way, but we still are battling to copy your messages. It's amazing how, even in the last week, how this color has just changed. Green to yellow, and now the reds are actually even starting to come out.
This may sound silly, but how does the plant focus all of a sudden on its leaves for
It doesn't. Only does that during the summer months. So I have deciduous trees, non-deciduous trees. Evergreens obviously are different, but the trees that lose their leaves during the winter obviously cannot photosynthesize without leaves. It'll still take nutrients from the soil though, by the cambium there. Station, you copy me now? Copy that? Yeah, I'm copying you now 4 out of 5. Please go ahead with what you were asking earlier. Good afternoon, Russell from Georgia. Russ was just wondering if there's been an update from what happened with the lion in Buffalo. From what I've told you, the guys have tracked the lions as they crossed our property. Someone followed them till like 9:30, 10 o'clock last night. They still had no luck. And then this morning the guys tracked the big herd of buffalo, trying to find the lion tracks behind them. Didn't have any luck. And then again this afternoon they found the big herd of buffalo drinking probably about a kilometer to the south of our eastern boundary, kilometer to the southeast from our eastern boundary, and they had a big dam there, but no sign of the lions yet, so it doesn't look like they were successful last night. Oh, yeah. A disappearing bug. This is actually quite interesting. If he stays around long enough. Oh, he's trying to catch a bug. Where's he gone now? Well, it was a water beetle. So what's happening now is as the water's drying up, they're able to fly. So they'll be flying between different water points, except unfortunately I think my face got in the way and he hit me, but he is okay, but he is somewhere in the car. I'm quite sure he'll be able to make his escape. For me personally, the bush takes on a whole different feel as it gets drier. I love the dry season. It's my favorite part of the year in the bush. Tracking's easier, your visibility is better, but just the quality of the game viewing you see is often incredible. It is generally better because you can see further. and the bush is not as dense, and the animals are more reliant on the limited water points. So the sightings you do see are just spectacular. And also, another one of the reasons, but I do love a little murder and mayhem in my life, is that it's this time of the year where you definitely have the predators, specifically like lions and stuff, far more focused on larger prey like buffalo and that. And also it's coming up to wild dog denning season, so I want everyone fingers crossed that the dogs will den somewhere between us and Arathusa, between Djuma and Arathusa, because then we'll have incredible sightings. And while they've got a den, they'll hunt on average twice a day, and with that success rate sitting around 80%, you always know you're in for some action, even if the only problem is trying to keep up with them and not destroy your car. But so for me it's a really exciting time of the year, and as it gets drier and stuff, and certain things change, become more obvious, very exciting time of the year to be on game drive and be out in the bush. Not to say that the green season, oh, we got hyena in the road. Hello, Omnis. Just taking a stroll. There's a hyena off on its evening patrols. So there were some alarm calls heard in this area earlier, so that hyena might have heard them on its way to sort of inspect to see if it can find anything. Nice little surprise there. And some of the smells become even more pronounced. So we're driving up towards a small drainage line, and there's actually a tree here called a potato bush. And when you drive past it, it smells like mashed potato.
Really? I thought that was the large food for a second.
Nah, no. Really, no, that was definitely a bush, potato bush.
Yeah, but I can't smell it now.
When you go through dips in slightly cool areas, that's where they grow. And it's funny, if you break their branch, you can't smell anything. But if you break the branch off and you put it in someone's room, their whole room smells like mashed potatoes. One of the pranks we used to play as each other as younger guys, possibly one of the more innocent pranks we used to do, but it's still funny because, well, I don't know, I couldn't think of anything worse than my whole room smelling like mashed potatoes for 2 days. And they would hide it like under the pillows and behind your cupboard. So it'd take you a day or two to find all the little branches of potato bush. Long legs, takes a bit to turn around. Well guys, thanks very much for joining us this evening. It's been an entertaining drive. Quite warm in the beginning, so we were just checking around, seeing what we could find. But then fortunately we were able to relocate on that male leopard, which sort of the cherry on top at the end of the drive. But I've had an absolutely fantastic time with you guys, and I hope you join us all again tomorrow morning. Hopefully we can find you some more exciting stuff and help teach you about our home that we're so lucky to live in. So good night from all of us here at WildEarth, and we'll see you in the morning, bright and early.